Welcome to Recovering Addict. I am LT. I am your host, and I am an alcoholic and an addict.
I'm Felice Weaver, your co-host, married to an alcoholic addict, here for all your questions about living with an addict.
So what you can find here on this channel, if you are new, is an addict right here who has lived 2 times in his life in rock bottom situations, from meth in the early 2000s and later in my 30s, full-blown alcoholism, and the family part of it as well, with my wife, who had to live with me as a complete belligerent drunk for a good part of 5 years, and children who are affected by it. So we're here to cover all the bases, bring families together, because it's not just the addict that has to recover. It's a whole family that needs to recover. If it's your child that has been an addict and dragging you through, bailing them out of jail and all that stuff, you as a parent will need to recover as well. If it's a spouse and a husband, and vice versa, that's going to be need. And if you're a child of an addict or an alcoholic, the child is going to have to recover as well. So we're here to cover all those bases, all those needs, still help the supporting addict who is on or hooked to alcohol or drugs by any means necessary, getting them off of that and clean and sober. And then through on to relapse prevention is a huge focus of this channel. And right now we are going through a book called The Steps We Took by Joe McHugh. We are finishing up chapter 5 today, but we have a special show. We got about 3 videos to show. And Michael Teeter, nope, he's in the house. I see him already. But we got a special video for him. I didn't get all the pictures that he sent me because he sent me through a couple, and I didn't check my email in time to get some of those pictures in there. But oh well, I make mistakes. But Michael Teeter asked if I would read his story that he sent me. And so I did a voiceover on some pictures and congratulating him today on his 60 days. We have Shauna, if she's in the house, we got a little surprise for her as well. And then the quote from Cassie. And then we will finish up the Steps We Took by Joe McHugh, chapter 5. And we just got to get a really good grasp on chapter 5. Let's say hi to everybody real quick. Who are we saying hi to? Jenny's in the house. Cat's in the house.
Hey, Cat.
Murd, what's up, man? I had somebody call me today and tell me how touched they were about what you and your father did last night on the show. Yeah, and it was awesome. Touching. I went to bed thinking about it. I woke up thinking about it. Beautiful thing. Michael Teeter, welcome, brother. Aubrey, good afternoon in Tomorrowland.
Raina, you're back.
Andrew,
I sure did miss you in the comments.
Andrew's in here. We got some pictures of that guy. Alicia, she's in the house. Raina, how you feeling?
How are you? How are you doing? Yeah. I need to give you a phone call.
There's Polly. You know the big old infamous, famous Polly Pinch.
Hi, Polly.
Experience, strength, and hope, no doubt. Sean, what's going on, man? Good to see you back. Going on 11 days. Second time watching. Awesome, brother. You are so very, very, very welcome. And that's why we are here, to help people who are suffering. We just want to be happy. And how can we achieve that? We can achieve that through the tools we learn here on this channel. And I'm just like y'all. I have to learn and I have to practice. Today I got really angry at my oldest boy. And I have to learn how to not get angry like that. You know what I'm saying? But teenagers, what do you do? Hi, Mom.
Ask your mom what you do. Just kidding.
And there's Dwight. Pleasure as always, man. Good evening, all. I've been a little under the weather with bad stomach. Oh, no. Praying all is well with everyone. I missed not being here. Thankful to be here in the flesh. We are glad you're here. Much love and respect to you, brother. We will be praying for your stomach ailment for sure. Yeah, it was amazing. Blessed man. What a blessed man that Murd is.
Hey, Jenny.
Good. That's good positivity right there. Sober dude. I saw him digging for information today, just like me. Never stop learning, never stop growing. Ain't that right, Dustin?
What up, Kyle?
In the house. Right on. Thank you very much, Sapper.
Lisa called today. Feeling good.
Good.
Lisa's a good lady.
Yeah, I like Lisa.
She's good people.
Oh, my goodness. Shauna. And since Shauna is here right now, I want to dedicate this next little video to you, Shauna. Celebrate the simplicity of peace. Take pride in your accomplishments as you continue to work. Accept each day as it is given with the knowledge and gratitude that is a gift. As you continue your journey in health and recovery, you are wished a sincere congratulations. Congratulations on 2 years. Good job. Congratulations.
Atta girl. Woo-hoo.
2 years, man. That's no joke.
Celebrate.
That is no joke. Hey, what's up, boo-boo?
Hi, boo.
We need you here too. We recover better together. And everything James told you is truth. So listen to what he's got to say and all that good stuff. And let's learn together. I was just going to click on somebody's comment and it disappeared.
Oh, yeah, they do that. And then all of a sudden it reappears again.
Where are we at? Michael Teeter. All right. I think that's pretty much everybody.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah, I love you too. You're welcome. Yeah, boo. I'm not sure what was going on with you, but James had some good advice. He's been to enough meetings and he's got enough sobriety under his belt to know what he's talking about. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Practice some of the stuff he says. Even though it's hard, do it. I mean, it's what we all have to do to overcome our character defects, to overcome the drive for us to drink and do drugs is not easy. It's hard work, but it's totally worth it. Life is so much better on this side of addiction.
Agreed. Alan. Hi, Alan.
Alan's here? Sweet.
Oh, Kat. Yeah, you got your email? I sent that off today. I can't wait. Can't wait for the picture.
Yes. Love it.
If y'all want t-shirts, I'm going to post the link in the description.
Yeah, congrats on 2 years. 152 days sober, made it through another day. One day at a time, Charlene. Hopefully I said that right, but one day at a time. 24 hours a day is the meditation we read every day on this channel. So for May 11th, 2020, AA's thought of the day, and I love this one. Think about this and think about the person you are, and don't just look at it as AA or NA, but look at it as a group of people who, just like this channel, just like Sober James's channel, that come together as a community to help each other stay sober and overcome other areas that we struggle, not just sobriety. There's other areas in life like parenting and work and, just life on life's terms that we can all help each other recover through, So the AA thought of the day is we can depend on those members of AA group who have gone all out for the program. They come to meetings, they work with other alcoholics, and we don't have to worry about their slipping. They're loyal members of the group. I'm trying to be a loyal member of the group. When I'm tempted to take a drink, I tell myself that if I did, I'd be letting down the other members who are the best friends I have. And here's the question. Am I going to let them down if I can help it?
Not if you can help it?
Not if I can help it. So the meditation of the day is, wherever there is true fellowship and love between people, God's Spirit is always there as the divine third. In all human relationships, the divine Spirit is what brings them together. When a life is changed through the channel of another person, it is God, the divine third, who always makes the change, using the person as a means. The moving power behind all spiritual things, all personal relationships between people is God, the divine third, who is always there. No personal relationship can be entirely right without the presence of God's Spirit. And the prayer of the day is, I pray that I may be used as a channel by God's Spirit. I pray that I may feel that divine third is always there with me. Amen.
I like it.
I'm digging it. Going to do a flush.
Done?
Done. That was fast.
What is that? I don't want to know.
December 9th, 2019. So yeah, awesome. I went August 19th, 2020. Exactly. Raina says, I was feeling bad because I have 8 years coming up in August and I wasn't feeling worthy because of medication my doc has me on. But after talking to Lisa, I learned I earned those damn 8 years and I own. Amen.
Yes, you did, Raina.
You earned them.
You earned them. Atta girl.
Yeah, we're proud of you for that.
I'm glad she made you feel better about those medications because they're legit.
Out to the anchored hearts.
Nice.
How you doing tonight?
Hello. What are you guys cooking tonight?
Oh,
Something
boy.
yummy.
Are they cooking again? Probably. You're gonna make me hungry. I had some frozen pizza.
Night, boo boo.
Night, boo. Oh man, tell me about it.
It's prettier.
Let me feel you there, Jenny.
Snapchat and TikToks.
What's up, Soupy? Welcome. Christopher Williams, welcome, brother. Good to see you.
Wilson,
Good to see you.
Christopher Wilson.
Petey says, I went and helped Hearts and Hands Ministry pass out food boxes and then walked 4 miles today. Man,
What a good day.
that's a great day.
I like it.
What a great day. Wonderful day. Helping, service. Did you think about yourself and, oh, woe is me when you were doing all that? I bet you weren't. I bet you were feeling good, thinking about other people and enjoying life. Doing a good job at it, too. So, everybody, Michael Teeter. He's in the chat. Everybody shout out to Michael Teeter. This is what he looks like right there. That's his name. But he sent me a few paragraphs of his story. I read them and put them on a little video. And he said that he would like me to share that. And I'm going to share that with you guys right now. I grew up with both of my parents being alcoholics. My dad would go through a fifth of vodka like water. He was not really around for me and my mom. I remember once he tried getting violent with us, and as we were trying to flee, we drove away and he followed, trying to literally run us off the road in our car. Later, my mom finally divorced him and married another guy, my stepdad. It was then that she too began drinking heavily with him, a gallon of rum or more a week. Plenty of nights of fighting and arguing. And it was at this age, 14, that I was then molested by a family friend. He was 32 and worked in a metaphysical bookstore I frequented. I was locked in the store after hours and he proceeded to take advantage of me. Between the ages of 14 and 23, I was in psych wards and hospitals. I tried to overdose on pills and liquor 3 times. I tried to commit suicide unsuccessfully, thank God. I know that this was attributed to my molestation, which also caused me to drink right when I became legal age. Maybe even before 21 because I remember sneaking rum from my mom and my stepdad. I would also steal their weed, and in high school I smoked it almost daily. It was in high school that I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. It's a form of autism, as well as epilepsy. I almost didn't graduate because in my senior year, 1998, I was high on weed most of the time. Finally, my mom and my stepdad divorced too. Once my mom was single again, she kept up with the booze, and this time she was drinking at work, sneaking booze everywhere she went. Many times I had to get her out of predicaments until she eventually was charged with the DWI. After that was when I personally started drinking more and more. I'd go to bars and parties only to get drunk and drink as much as I could, as fast as I could, to the point of getting either violent or sick. Sometimes I'd smoke weed, but not every day like I was in high school. Then, in 2016, my mom passed away from alcohol. That's when it hit me the hardest. I was covering my pain with drinking and not confronting it straight head on. I needed a drink for everything. Drink when bored, drink to have fun, drink when mad, drink when sad, even go to work so hungover, almost still drunk from the night before. I remember waking up in a hotel room with vomit all over me, waking up the entire wing after my argument with my husband. I eventually was at the bar so much that the bar owner was calling and asking where I was and wondering why I wasn't at the bar drinking. Finally, I got to the point that I was drinking at home almost every night. One night, I was finishing off a box of wine, and I just started crying to my husband and my now sponsor that I need help, and I didn't want to end up like my family. Before making the decision to quit drinking, I'd be wanting liquor all the time. Going to bars, spending $100 plus bar tabs, buying alcohol from home, drinking at home, couldn't focus clearly, wanting to drink for everything. My only rule was no drinking at work, which now I realize I was a functioning alcoholic. Majority of the time, when I drank, I would drink to get drunk. There was no just a couple of drinks for me. This, of course, caused arguments with my husband and I, not to mention vomiting, getting sick, and the hangovers. Once I started, I wouldn't stop till I got sick. Now, of course, I have temptations to drink, but overcome it and continue to be strong. I can see things more clearly now and think straight. I can also be more in tune with my feelings and other people's feelings, which before was hard for me to do. Now, I'm at a point where I have to find motivation to do things without the liquor in me, and dig deep down inside me to get stuff done. Of course, I want to drink a little, but I know it won't be a little if I do. I know that I have to hit this head on and grab the bull by the horns and continue with meetings. I learned that within the first 90 days, if we have one meeting a day, the chances of sobriety and recovery are far greater. Still trying to find the motivation to work the steps instead of just listening to meetings and hanging out in them. Doing book work is hard for me, never has been an easy task. But I realize I won't succeed unless I actually do the work and the steps. Michael Teeter. Michael Teeter, you're an inspiration to us all. Congratulations on 60 days. Woo! Good job. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, Mike. Looking good in that shirt.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I know that's not easy to do. Gave me chills.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out there and tell people your true life story and then overcome and all that, you know?
Yeah. Brave man there, Michael Teeter.
For sure. What's up, Philip? How you doing? Everybody give it up for Michael Teeter, 60 days. 60 days. You keep going, brother. Keep going. Keep coming back. Keep going. And if you want, I'll send you that file. I can send you that video if you'd like me to. Let me know, and I will send it to you. What's up, Chad?
Hey, Chad.
Welcome. We're doing really good tonight. Michael Teeter just celebrated 60 days. We had, oh, man, you're going to make me remember names.
Shauna.
Golly. Sorry, Shauna.
2
Shauna's
years.
celebrating 2 years today. And you'll have to go back and rewind it and watch for the last rewind 5 minutes, and you'll be able to see Michael Teeter's story. He sent it to me, and I was able to voice over some pictures and listen to it. So that was pretty cool. And if you're on the Facebook side of things, remember, you never know who's going to hear and who hears stories like that could help change their lives and bring them to a community that we can grow together. So hit that button and share it. Start a watch party. Do whatever you got to do to spread the message of hope and strength. And if you know a spouse or a child who has an alcoholic or an addict as a father, let them know about it too, because Felice has answers for that type of. She had to live with me for 5 years as a complete waste. My buddy Mark just came over here and reminded us of times he would come over and I was in the basement drinking, and just how much her demeanor has changed since I quit drinking from when I was in active addiction, and how heavy laden and, you know, heartbroken and depressed and all that stuff she was just a year and a half ago, you know, a year ago.
Made me want to tear up a little.
Yeah, it was touching. So we're doing the right thing, you guys, by getting sober and staying clean, learning how to get off of any type of drug that's hindering us, and learning abstinence. The goal is abstinence, and however you got to get there is however you got to get there. Everybody's program's different. If you do the 12 steps, do them. If you can do them without the 12 steps and you're becoming a better person, do it. You know what I'm saying? But let's get on this recovery train and I always like to think, let's rewrite the last half of our life. I know most of us in here are my age. Rewrite the last half of our life so when our obituary is written, it's something that we would be proud of. Because if we were to die in our active addiction, what would our obituary have said about us at that moment? You know what I mean? Michael Teeter says, thanks all. That's funny because my old phone, I'm having to watch Chrome. This isn't easy to comment here. But hello, Merc. But you still figured out Pi Merc.
Pie.
That's way cool. That is way cool. So I'm going to play Cassie's video a little earlier tonight so we can spend the last half hour getting through this last chapter of chapter 5, or the last half of the chapter, I should say. But right now, make sure you smash that like button, share out these videos, and subscribe if you are not subscribed to the YouTube side. But can you put in the comments something that you've learned the last couple of days as we've gone through step 5 that stands out to you that you hadn't really thought about before, having worked step 5, haven't thought about before getting ready to work step 5, or just something that stood out to you and you're nowhere near step 5. Anything that kind of just stood out in your mind when you think about the steps and you come across step 5 and What's that one little nugget? What's one little nugget you've gotten from the step 5 that we've been digging through? And I think a nugget that I got for me was to find a person who's not going to look at the story you're telling, but is going to try to look past that story and see the exact nature of the wrong that caused that story. Because that's a good sponsor. If you can find a sponsor who can hear your story, look past the story, and point out to you the exact nature, especially if you're off a little bit about it, that's the kind of person you want to look for. And that's people I want in my life too. And then it gets me thinking about the exact nature. And always, if we're trying to fix the wrong problem, we think that's the problem, but it isn't. And that's what's awesome about asking this other person you're going to tell it to, because then you can actually start working on the correct problem, the character defect, the exact nature of that wrong. And then you're prepared for step 6. And we will get into that next time. Raina says she's down to a half a pack. All right. Good job.
Atta girl.
My worst day sober is 10,000 times better than my best day addicted. Amen. I agree, Shauna. Pick the right person to share. Amen, Mark. Clothed-mouthed friend. Yes, Aubrey. And Aubrey knows from experience from last time we talked about it. Amen. I stick it out. I got to dig deeper and keep going, just like with my... Amen. And it's a rest of our life thing. It's funny because every time you have an epiphany, an eye-opening moment, you find a piece of a nugget, that's gold in what we're learning. Just know that that's going to continue to happen the rest of our lives as we press through in this growth. As you're always going to come across those whoa moments, and those are my favorite. Those aha moments are my absolute favorite as we go through these things. Merd says, probably start believing in myself and have confidence in myself and knowing that I can achieve whatever goals I need to. Yeah, of course you can. And looking and hearing you talk, no doubt about it. It's like getting a second opinion of what you've been through. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Helping. Yep. I always thought it had to be read to a sponsor. I don't know why I thought that, but I learned it does not have to be. No, it doesn't.
It just says somebody.
Yep, somebody that... But I think there should be in that somebody a specification of the person that it needs to be is somebody that will be able to look past the story and look at the exact nature of the wrong, because that's what we're trying to figure out. What? Should we put the dog in the house? No, leave her or take her. No worries, David. I'm glad you're here.
Hey, Dave.
I'm really glad you're here. All right. On that note, let's get into our inspirational quote from Cassie Weaver. Cassie. Oh, you got to hit the right button to do that, though.
Hey, guys. Happy Monday to you. I'm back with your motivational quote here on Recovering Addict. Courage is grace under pressure. Ernest Hemingway. That was a good one. You guys know what to do. Let's bring it together. And as always, we're going to continue. Spread that love.
Boom, boom, boom. Thanks, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie. We love you.
Dustin says, I caught the end of Merd's dad's last night, not getting down on your mistakes and being of service and helping people. So I owed my neighbor. Oh, you mowed your neighbor's lawn. Dude, that's good. And guess who you weren't thinking about? Yourself. And when we don't think about ourselves, we're not in a pity party. And that is the point of service and helping people, is when you go and you get outside of yourself, you're outside of yourself. That's the point. And that's good, dude. Good job. Good on you. Somebody that you trust. Amen. It's got to be somebody you trust.
Yeah.
Got to be. You can talk for a sec as I start thumbing through here.
So I didn't do the 12 steps like he's doing the 12 steps. I went through this Excellent Wife book, but it did the 12 steps in a different way. And the lady that I confided in, she was not much. She was older, but she was older than I was. And she was much wiser than I was, had been through a lot more life than I did. And she had a lot of wisdom to share with me from her past experiences. Because once you open up, well, once I opened up, it gave her almost like it gave her permission to open up to me, and we could connect on a deeper level and share our experiences together. And then we worked through them together. So not only what she would tell me, she's like, you're teaching me so much more about myself than I had known before. So who knows, maybe y'all, when you share your stuff with whoever you're confiding in, they're learning from you too. And then you find you have a lot more in common sometimes than you thought you did. But she's an awesome lady. I really love her. But there wasn't very many women that I would have confided in, but she was the one.
Absolutely. Amen. Thank you, Cassie. All right, so I'm going to read this one paragraph, and that should help us catch up with what we were talking about last night, and then we will go on to the rest of the chapter. So we're going to go through each inventory. If you all remember, we talked about this fourth column, and if you look on the screen, you'll see in the far right column, you got the fourth column. It says, this is our business. This is our column, right? Column 4. Because 1 is the person, 2 is the situation, 3 is why you had resentment towards that person and what was threatened of your physical securities. And then 4 is the exact nature of the wrong of that whole situation. And that is what can be changed. And that fourth column is what we're focusing on. It says you may choose to call them faults, defects, mistakes, shortcomings, or whatever you choose. These are all different words for essentially the same thing. I like to call them sin nature. I need to see that the problem started within me, not with what those other people did. The things in the fourth column are what we are going to work on. And let's say it again, we cannot do anything about other people. What's in column 1 and what's in column 2, either in the past, present, or even in the future. We can't do much about self, what's in column 3, except to make a decision to turn the instincts that make up self over to God. And so that's God's business. The only thing we can do is work on what's on column 4. So if we can get rid of these characteristics in the fourth column, chances are the self will be healthy. Some of the things we have inventoried were probably people retaliating against us. Some of the things they did were probably because of what we did in the first place. When we are not doing those things anymore, things based on selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, frightened, and inconsiderate character, there's not going to be a lot to retaliate. Of course, every once in a while, somebody will do something against us anyway, but still, if we're spiritually well, it won't make any difference. We won't have to barrage our stuff. We won't have a barrage of stuff going on because we are healthy. So a resentment, a fear, a harm may appear to be another person's problem, but it really is our problem. And I think realizing this is freedom, and that is the goal here. We want freedom, and that's serenity and peace. If you really want to be free in your life and you want to be happy, then the problems have to be your problems. As soon as you say they did it, then you're giving up your freedom. You are turning your life back over to the world and enslaving yourself. That's why I tell my sponsees we are a team, because in the end, we end up helping each other, not just me help. Amen. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. When I say I've got a problem, I sure hope it's mine. If it's mine, I have a chance to do something about it. If it's somebody else's problem, I can't do nothing about it. People usually associate freedom with political freedom and democracy, something like that. But the greatest freedom in the world is not that kind of freedom. It's the individual freedom God has given us as human beings. We are created as free people. I think when our forefathers wrote the Constitution, that's what they were reflecting. These were very spiritual people, and what they were saying was, this is the way we are all born. We are born free from anyone else, free from what anybody else does. And we give that up ourselves by buying into things, by giving other people resentments and fearing this and worrying about that and developing these selfish, self-seeking parts of our character. And then we end up confined by alcohol or food or other people or other compulsive behaviors. All this gets wrapped up into a big ball, a cobweb of emotional tangle. We were created to be free, and we have done this job of tangling things up all by ourselves. So in all our addiction, through the way we've been compulsively living our lives, the whole tangle web mess was our fault. And by admitting that is your fault and untangling that mess, you become free. When you say, this is my problem, you take responsibility, but it takes a little work and a little pain to admit it. And it is. It's hard to admit it. And a lot of time you got blinders on and you need help with a counselor or something like that. Somebody asked what page we're on?
I was just letting them know.
Oh, sweet.
Bob's not here. He's usually the one that asks me what page we're on.
You know why it's hard to admit? Because it's easier to transfer blame to somebody else and keep on going. But you're really stacking up something when you do that. It's like sweeping dirt under the rug, and it's going to be worse later on when it comes out. And this is all resentment is. This is all fear is, and this is all guilt and remorse is. You're just sweeping it under the rug, and it just becomes a huge pile. The guilt and the remorse, for example, if we had made amends when the things for which we felt guilty happened, we wouldn't have carried the guilt and remorse for 20 years. But we didn't do that. And the guilt and the remorse got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and a bigger load to carry. If I had made amends when it first happened, we would have been free. Just think about that as you go through step 4 and you're starting to talk about step 5. Had that argument taken place and you realized your wrongs in that and said sorry, you wouldn't have this years of resentment, stacked upon resentment, which us addicts end up getting ourselves into, diving blindly into the bottom of a bottle or the bag or needle or sniffing, whatever.
Hey, Marcus.
What's up, Marcus? Welcome. Glad you're here, brother. Denai says, when you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what is happening. That's where your power. Amen. That's freedom.
That is freedom.
That's exactly what we're talking about right now. Right now.
Yep. That goes for everybody that's involved with addiction right there. That is a very freeing statement.
Yep.
And it keeps peace in the house a little better when you respond correctly.
So I think it's the same way in our emotional lives. We're on page 85, second paragraph. When we don't do daily things we need to do to live and to be free, when we don't face things and deal with them, when we don't admit our faults, when we sweep things under the rug, then we give up our freedom. I like that, facing the things that we need to deal with. If there's something out there that you know you should have done and you haven't done it and you're doing everything you can to avoid it, it's literally a weight on your back, on your shoulders. And until you deal with it, does it finally go away? And that's what we're doing in step 4 and 5. We are then in bondage. And this is manifested and expressed by all kinds of problems: alcohol, drug dependence, codependency, and so on. If we've gotten into this state through many years of living, it will be difficult to do step 5. Step 5 is thus a process of going back and clearing up the things that we've swept under the rug. And it's painful. It's not an easy thing for a person who has been living this way to start living the right way. How many times have you heard Sober James say it, or somebody in an AA or an NA meeting? You didn't become an alcoholic overnight. And how long did it take you, or how long were you addicted and doing your drugs? Just kind of think recovery is going to be a slow, hard process, just the same, but a better and more worth it process, a happier, more serene, more free process. Just think right now, if you were to still be in your active addiction, you weren't on this channel, you weren't talking to the people in these comments, you weren't on the Discord, you weren't on the Facebook community groups, chit-chatting with each other in sobriety, where would you be right now? I would probably have been fired by now, maybe.
You'd probably definitely be on your last leg.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely have a paper trail on my last leg.
And you'd probably be in the motorhome.
I'd probably be sleeping in the motorhome. Felice may not be here.
Yeah.
I may not have enough money to even go buy another bottle. I'd probably be up at Randy's. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, what's today?
I could be dead.
It's
I could
Monday.
have
You'd be here.
8 months. I could be, if I would have compounded my drinking.
You might have been in the hospital.
I could have poisoned myself enough to have to checked in because I was sick.
So many ifs, ands, or whats, huh?
But when you think about where you would be, now think about that. Let me think about where I would be had I not stopped doing the drugs and alcohol. You only think negatively, right? You think, oh, things would have been this much worse. You don't go, well, I'd still be drinking and I would probably have a great opportunity at work and I would have a great reputation. My marriage would have gotten better, It's always you just think about how bad it would have gotten or death is the end result anyway. But then you start thinking about recovery. And you're like, man, I've been in recovery for 60 days, 90 days, 2 years. What if I continue in recovery and keep going down this road? Now, which way is it pointing? Is it pointing positively? Oh, I could probably be responsible, have a good credit score if that's what you're after. Your relationships, everything mends and your freedom, your emotional freedom, your heart, your health, everything. Just wow. There's another epiphany for me right there on live.
I seen your brain go.
Yeah. When you talk about, I'm going to say it one more time because it was just so fun. When you talk about where you would be if you would have never quit using, watch where it leads. When you talk about where you would be if you stay in recovery, look where it points. And logically, how in the world could we blind ourselves and go back to using ever? Know what I mean? That's strength and hope right there, you guys.
Oh, you're going to love this one. Wait for it. I wish it was so much faster. Oh, Aubrey, he'd be dead by now.
Yeah. What's up, jump, doggy, jump. Welcome.
Oh, hey, jump, little doggy. No, this one. What's your favorite saying?
It's a marathon, not a sprint. I know that quote. And the funny, dude, that's kind of an inside joke too around here. There's a guy at work who I share my passion of this channel and stuff with. And I told him that one day and he's like, what? And so now every time I share, he's like, hey, how's YouTube going? No, it's like this. And he goes, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's so funny. Every time he's like, watch this.
I could text him right now and he would send me that back. But I know where you got that from too, brother.
Chad said, I'd be drunk, drowned in a pool of self-pity and anger, thinking it was all because of other people and situations without considering the fault lies within me.
Poor Chad, huh? The poor blame game, the victim mentality. I know what you're talking about. I'd be drunk, pilled up, stoned, pissed off, or in jail.
But you 2 years,
It's
baby.
2 years, yeah.
What?
Point that out to somebody. Have them just think, if they're thinking about relapsing or drinking, that's just part of playing the tape through. Where does this road end compared to where does that road end?
I'd be sad if you were Raina, because then we'd never have our conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad we met Raina. And
the rest of you, obviously, but Raina calls me.
Freedom from bondage that tells exactly how we get over our resentment. I'll have to read that.
Can Millie and Link go to Randy's house?
Is that where Amos is?
I don't know.
No, I'll just tell him to stick around. Yeah, he is. He's a cool dude, though. You'd like him. It isn't easy, and when you read it, you'll know why. Okay. What page is it on, brother? We've been playing their victim, throwing out. Yep. Always blaming somebody. And do you know when you have that feeling like, I can't even really think of a good example. I'll use my work and calling in sick or something. if they don't approach you and ask you, like, why did you call in sick? You have this weird desire to like tell them why or come up with an excuse so that they hear it. And when you think about that, you don't know how that's really going to affect the person hearing it. You want to say it out loud to that person just to make yourself feel better.
Self-justification.
It's all self-justification. You can throw it out there and make yourself feel better. So a lot of times I bite my tongue now. I'm just like, you're just trying to make yourself feel better, stupid. Shut up.
They didn't ask you.
Yeah.
they don't care.
As now I'm a Cosmo in a super cool salon.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
So awesome.
Up or down, it's your choice. Terminally unique. You're awesome.
That's not a lie.
Timothy, this is a new face.
Hey, Tim.
Been sober for 5 years and still the power and will inside. Instead of someone wants to be sober, that's what counts. Timothy Melton. Well, nice to meet you, Timothy. Good comment. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. 5 years. That's good, man. We just celebrated a 2-year birthday in the chat with Shauna. Quote that changed many things for me is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Amen. That's a good one too. 544. Okay. I'll read through that, dude. I'll bring some of that to the table. So once we've done this, once we've cleared up those things that are swept under the rug, we have to keep it up. But we do it because we see the benefit and we see the stupidity of the old way. For example, if you drove your car down the street and somebody said, "What's that noise?" And you said, "It ain't nothing." And you just keep, and it's just the street. You're sweeping it under the rug, right? And then later somebody else says, "Hey, I believe I hear a noise in your car." You say, "Oh, it's nothing." And you keep on. And pretty soon parts of the car will be falling off and you'll see it's painful. You see it's painful to stop and admit something is wrong. And of course you have fear and a fear of what's going to cost you. And maybe if you had fixed it at first, the first day you heard the little noise, it wouldn't have cost so much. So after months of trying to escape, you may find the car is ruined. You know the saying now, pay now, or you know that saying now, pay me now, pay now or pay later. And that's the way it is with sobriety. And that's how it is with life. Pay now or pay later. Do it now or pay more or maybe much more later. And some of us don't even get the option to pay later because we get wound up dead. What are the 3 things? Jails, institutions, and death. And this is what we're doing in step 5. And although we want to have confidence in the person who hears our step 5 and feel that he or she has been there, there's really no great wisdom or insight necessary on his or her part. I remember someone came up to me and I related the situation to the situation in a great deal. And it was obvious to me as soon as I heard what the problem was, I said, "That's your problem right there." Then the person looked at me and said, "How did you know that?" And he said, "Well, you told me." "How could you see it so plainly?" the person asked. And I answered, "I wasn't involved in it. You were." And that's the point of step 5. We have to remember that we don't see too well. I always say, I only see so far and I only hear so far. And I come home from work and I turn on the TV and to ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever news channel, and they can see further than I can. I watch the 5:30 news and find out what's going on in Russia and China beyond the limits of my sight. That's relying on a power greater than myself. So we seek truth. Step 5 is a very rewarding step. We don't know the results of a step until after it is taken. In step 5, the decision of step 3 and the effort and honesty of step 4 become meaningful because we begin to get some results. Personality change begins as a result of step 5. So you've admitted you're powerless. That's a hard thing. You've come to believe in a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity because of what you were living in was insane and you can't do it on your own. So in 3, you're making this decision, right? 4, you write down your inventories. You're trying to find the exact nature of your wrong. And boom, by coming out of your shell, telling another person, admitting it to God, admitting it honestly to yourself in the mirror, your personality, right then, life starts improving and changing. Not things are going to get easier, but your outlook on life and the freedom in here starts happening right then. Our quality of life gets better and better. Some of the things we used to live with will become objectionable, and we will get rid of those. As we continue to grow, we say, well, I used to live with that, but I can't no more. And that's growing. And that's the end of chapter 5.
That was a good chapter.
That was a good chapter. So recapping the big idea. Remember how I always talk about when you go to a book, you grab a book, you read it. And I learned this from a counselor who is in Salt Lake. He told me anytime you read a paragraph of the book, the author is trying to have there's an idea that's being drawn throughout all the words, right? What is that big idea? Because all of it is cumulative to this big idea. So what I read out of that in step 5 was to find the person that you trust with the closed mouth, to focus on column 4 and the things of the exact nature that you can change, and get it off your chest, tell it, and start growing towards the future. Thank you, Murd. Thank you, Petey. That was a good chapter.
That was a good chapter. I did get my Al-Anon 12 steps. Like it's got a hole in it.
It's green. Turn it around.
Oh, weird. Can you see my face? No, that's
I'll
not.
grab some more tea.
But I did. I got my Al-Anon 12 steps and traditions. So I'm going to start reading up on what they have to say about everything. So far, it looks pretty good. It's got the 5 steps, or the 12 steps, and then it goes through like step 5. Then it has like a thinking it over portion, and then it has a story that goes with it. I just got it today, so I haven't had a chance to really read through it yet, but I'm pretty excited. Let's see. I'll just read a little piece out of it. Why not? It says, when I admitted my imperfections to myself, I give myself a chance to make room for new attitudes and directions. My willingness to look beyond my defensive view and my real or imagined hurts gives me release from carrying them around. It can stretch them out, and if I can search them out and look at them, I can let them go. I like this. I like this a lot. I'm pretty excited to read it. I can't wait for my other one to come in the mail too. Learn all the Al-Anon stuff.
Where were we?
Whoa, you're way too far.
Back?
No, stop it.
I was gone.
Did you read this one? That's about where we left off.
Addicts are liars. They cannot admit the truth, and it hurts. And it hurts real bad admitting it, but you're going to feel better. And that's why it's called recovery. A cut is healing from abuse. Amen. Thank you, Murd.
Yeah. Let's see. Petey said he'd probably be dead. This is
Banging with a borders being closed. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, you don't want to be banging dope right now.
Ooh. Here's our new friend, Timothy.
Timothy. I strongly support those with power of self-will. Timothy Milton. United States Force Recon Marine Gulf War veteran. Well, thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Marines. Hoorah.
A good saying is, I may not be all I could be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
Uh-huh.
I like that. Indeed, Chad. The more I seek my higher power and the more willing I am in seeking, the more I can deal with and heal from character defects. Now I can notice them by practicing the steps. Oh, I like that too. Please share.
Share, subscribe, and like.
Murd said, good read.
I think so.
Awesome chapter.
That was a long time ago. You're way behind.
Oh, look, this is the end.
Wow. This is the end. Hey, no worries, Jeffrey.
Glad you're here, Jeffrey.
Interview in the Oxfords. What?
Oh.
I was so late. I had a weekly house meeting and interview a person for the Oxford House, and I wanted to meet you. Sweet. Hope the interview went well.
Yeah.
I don't trust easily.
Oh, I'm glad you trust me.
Eyebrow cough. Elbow. Oh.
Elbow cough. Where's
That's
Aaron?
So funny. I'm here to support a friend of mine who just made it more than 60 days. That's why I'm here to support him. Victory. Timothy Mountain, United States Marines.
I like your signature.
I love your sign off. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we're here for. Timothy, did you get to see his story? I'm going to send it to him. I'll email him that video clip if you'd like to have him share it with you. Yep, Rob Lowe. Good on him, because addiction takes anybody down. Yep, exactly what Merck said. Okay, back on my regular phone. Thank God.
Yeah, it was so annoying trying to watch you chat with us.
Chrome on tiny phone.
Glad you got that back.
You seem better already.
You seem happier, more content.
Michael Teeter says, thank you, Timothy. Elbow cough. I went over recovery and relapse in Suboxone group. I always can relate to the personal stories in that. Amen. I hear that. How many of you, by raise of hands or me or whatever you want to say, have seen the video that I produced on character defects out of the book, Drop the Rock? So I got this book right here, Drop the Rock. This is the book I had to do for my book report in my IOP. And so once I got out of my IOP, I made a video about it. And I just want to know who has seen it. If you have not, let me know, because I think that will probably be an opener to our chapter 6 in the steps that we took by Joe McHugh. We could even watch it tonight if y'all want. I don't really care. We can watch it tonight and tomorrow. I went over recovery. Oh, I already read that. Oh, yes. Can't update YouTube on my old phone. Oh, I hate messing up with technology. Getting hungry. What's an IOP? Intense outpatient program, Dustin. So I was here's my little story. I checked myself into a detox center to come off of alcohol because of how much whiskey I was drinking. After I got out of there, I checked myself into a program called Action Recovery. And it's an intense outpatient program. It was Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 9 o'clock every night, and then an hour mandatory AA or NA. We had to switch back and forth, both between the two. And I was there for 5 months. I only missed one day. It was one Friday I got sick, but I was there for 5 months, learning the 12 steps. And on day 47, I was about a month or so into my IOP. I relapsed. I drank 3 shots of whiskey. And went through that whole thing with group therapy, counseling, family group therapy, and that's when recovery clicked. I worked up to step 5 in this IOP, and in between step 5, we had to do drug use history, we had to do a life story, we had to do a huge packet on character defects, 7 different examples, and then 2 examples of how it made my life unmanageable and how it could cause me to relapse over 17 different character defects. And then we had to do a book report and do all step 5s. And then we had to memorize the 12 steps, write a relapse prevention plan. And then once we did that and the counselor was confident that you could move and transition out, you would transition. They'd have a transition ceremony, which was really a special thing. They give you a cool keychain. Well, it's on my keys somewhere. T-shirt. And then after that, you continue with what they call aftercare. It's on Tuesday nights. So I went for, instead of going 5 days a week, I'm down to 1 day a week. So tomorrow night, if it opens back up to where we can come in person, I'll be at my aftercare program.
Do you guys want to hear my kids beg?
Are they voice begging? Let's watch it. Never seen it. That's what, Aubrey's seen it. Okay, I'm going to load it up and we can watch it all together right here. I think it's like a 10-minute video. Well, let me see how long it is first. Let me see here. I think it's one of my better videos that I've done, honestly. What? Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, she can do that. Thank you. I just noticed I have 2 extra subscribers. Thank you very much for your guys' support.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
While he's doing that, I'm going to link spam YouTube. Give you all the links to all our things. Starting with...
Oh, it's a 9-minute video. Not very long.
Our private Facebook page. Please join. Oops.
Aftercare is once a week, every Tuesday, 4 times a month. No problem, brother. I would highly suggest, if you have a chance to get into any type of group therapy,
Please
to
subscribe.
do it, because it is amazing.
Here's our email where you can contact us anytime.
I'm on my 2nd pot of sleepy time tea with chamomile, Aaron.
Discord.
Try to get myself to sleep tonight. I haven't been sleeping good lately.
T-shirts.
Okay, well, Fleece is spamming that. I'm going to play this video for y'all. Share the audio. I can't forget to do that. I always do that. All right, here you go.
It's too nice to make a video inside. Let's go up on the mountain and do this. Do you read books? I read a book. It's called Drop the Rock. I had to read this when I was in my IOP program. So this is what we're going to be looking at, but I ain't going to read it to you. I'm just going to give you a fire hose worth of information on this book, what I got out of this book. And then we're going to look at 3 things. We're going to look at steps 6 and 7, because that's what this book is about. We're going to look real quick at how steps 1 through 5 in the 12-step program lead up to 6 and 7. And then I'm going to tell you 5 tools that are going to help you get through steps 6 and 7. So hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for weekly videos right here on Recovering Addicts. Here comes a dump truck. That's great. I'm out here trying to make a video for you guys about getting rid of character defects too. And now my impatience, because this guy decides he wants to drive up the street while I'm making videos. Really? Did he not know I was going to be here? Did I need to reserve the road? Seriously. Now a dump truck's going to drive by while I'm trying to make a video. Now my patience is gone. Gonzo. Oh, hi. Hello. Hi. And then you pretend like you're nice. You see that? That's a character defect. Got to get rid of those. Got to kill them. Got to drop the rock. So you guys know that I was a heavy drinker. I put this in my life story. I was a heavy drinker for the better part of 5 years. I was drinking a pint every night. And then in 2017, my son was in a terrible accident. Got his head crushed by a UTV. He basically died in my arms. The kid that he is not no more. His personality completely changed. He has brain damage. Still an awesome kid. You guys will see him soon on this channel one day. But anyway, after 2017 and that accident, I started drinking heavily, like really bad. I was drinking close to a 5th a night. I was missing most days at work. That lasted for about 2 years. Then I had to check myself into a detox center where I spent 3 days, 2 nights in a hospital detoxing off of whiskey. I was pounding whiskey. Shortly after I got done detoxing, I checked myself into an IOP program, and this program was very intense. It was 5 days a week, 3.5 hours every night from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. In the IOP program,
sure I just told you all that.
Steps 1 through 5. And on your way to steps 1 through 5, there's a bunch of assignments right in between them. In between steps 1 and 2, we had to do a life story. We had to do a huge assignment on our character defects, and we also had to do a book report. And the book report that I was assigned was Drop the Rock. In a nutshell, Drop the Rock is about 6 and 7. It's about your character defects. And the book says your character defects are like a rock around your neck. How can you swim from point A to point B if you have a heavy rock weighing you down? It's not possible, right? You can't make any progress and you won't get anything accomplished. And step 6 says we're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. The word entirely means completely, totally, fully, wholly, and all together. You remember that video I showed you at the beginning of the girl flipping off the thing? Let's watch it again. The platform she's on is 25 feet in the air. The one below that is 16 feet. Now, if you're somebody that's scared of heights, jumping off this is not going to be easy. She plugs her nose and she attempts to jump. But what did she not do? She didn't let go. She was still hanging on. She was not entirely ready to jump. She was still hanging on, and in her attempt to jump, she ends up swinging back under the second, losing her grip, falling and hitting her legs on the first tier, and flipping into the water. She was not entirely ready. Now ask yourself as you approach step 6, are you entirely ready to let go of your character defects? Are you ready to drop the rock that is weighing you down? Are you ready to have God remove all these defects of character? Or are you going to hang on and end up in an embarrassing fall just like she did? Because if you notice, step 6 says all. So notice it says all these defects of characters. That's the ones that you know about: your impatience, your anger, your lust, your greed, your selfishness, your immoral thinking, envy, jealousy. Now the ones that you don't see, wants to remove those too. There's 4 basic reasons that somebody will not let go of character defects. Reason number 1, you consciously hang on to them. You love them. Inside, deep down inside, you love your character defect. That's what got us where we were. That's how we became such pricks in our active addiction. Number 2 is we blame other people or other situations. Oh, it's not my fault. Come on, it is your fault. And the third one is we can rationalize and justify them away. We make excuses for anything. Oh, I'll go drink because of this and that. Oh, I need to use. I can handle it this time. What are you making? What excuses are you making? Or number 4, denial. You just flat don't even know. Or you refuse to believe that you actually contributed to your problem. And you did. Now, the first 5 steps lead up to the knowledge and the destruction caused by our character defects. So if you have not done a complete step work, a thorough, honest step work of step 1 through 5, you will not be ready for step 6 and 7. And if you don't do an honest step 6 and 7, you ain't going to be ready for 8 and 9. So if you are entirely ready to have God remove all your defects of character, are you ready to humbly ask him? So in the book, Drop the Rock, on page 4, there's a prayer. If you're ready to humbly ask him, you can pray this little prayer right here. I don't care what I sound like. I don't care what I look like. I don't care who my partners are. I just don't want to be like this anymore. On your terms, in your time, please remake me as you will. So as we reflect on our character defects, we turn to our higher power with confidence and humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. My dog's favorite thing. So let's look at 5 tools that are going to help us down this path. 4 of these tools were actually taken right out of that book, Drop the Rock. And the 5th one I heard on a radio, but I think it applies. The first one, find a ritual. The one that this book talks about is you can take your character defects, write them on little pieces of paper, okay? You can drop them into a hat, and every morning you can get up and pick one out and say it's impatience. The rest of the day you work on your patience while you're sitting in traffic, as you're dealing with people at work, or anything that just doesn't seem to go your way. Work on that character defect throughout the whole day. Make a ritual out of it. Number 2, use prayer. Prayer is mentioned in step 7. Prayer is being mindful, asking for awareness. Prayer can add depth and meaning to our commitment. Use prayer to ask for ease of grace and surrender. Use prayer to ask how to think and how to act. Use prayer to say thank you. You know what? You can use prayer to ask how to pray. Learn to meditate. And this isn't the empty of mind, I'm meditating, mindless meditation for nothing. We're human beings that are made to think. Use your mind to think. Take control of your thoughts. In this meditation, you become very mindful. You're thinking with a purpose. You're rewiring your brain. One thing that you can do is just let one word, just meditate on one word. Close your eyes. Take the word surrender. Surrender. Release. Give up. Let go. Peace. Renewal. Surrender. Do this throughout your day. Lay in bed as you're going to sleep. You can do this while you're driving in the car. The 4th tool the book says, prepare for a cleansing. We need to start from a clean slate if we are going to be entirely ready. Ask yourself, how's your language? Are you a gossiper? Do you use violent language? Start to judge the little things in your life that you think are less threatening. You can look at little addictions too and how you can attack those to caffeine or sugar. It's about putting your life in alignment and being completely honest with this step. Now, the 5th one that I heard on the radio, this one kind of hit me hard. I drank for 5 hard years. From 35 to 40, I wasted that whole chunk. Wasted every bit of it. If you died right now, what would your obituary say about you? We sit at a crossroads in treatment, in recovery. We can become better people or not change at all and be who we've always been. Try this. Take 15 minutes, grab a piece of paper, and write down what you want your obituary to say. What are these 3 to 6 paragraphs going to say about your life? We have a choice this day to live to be better people that we are proud of. Step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of characters. Step 7, humbly ask him to remove all our shortcomings. Are you ready to drop the rock? So that's what I got out of Drop the Rock. I suggest you grab this book, read it, because it will help you in your recovery. If you like this video and I earned your subscription, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. Stay tuned for weekly videos on recovery, right here on Recovering Addicts. Go on now. Get your car out of here. Come on. Making a video. Keep moving. Get. Go. Where was I? Utah. I live in northern Utah. This mountain you see behind me is Ben Lomond. Every time I come up on this mountain to make a video, nobody's here. I hit record. Dump trucks, joggers, walkers, drivers, gawkers, smockers, talkers, lookers. The only one being...
There's my video for you. Drop the rock. So once my son gets back in town,
We'll show you.
Xylan, he's going to help me do some editing, and I will start to produce videos like that again. So I'm going to still continue going live every night, and then I'm going to produce one video a week that's similar to that one, that are just 10-minute videos, because we want this channel to grow. We want this channel to provide income so that we can create this whole huge relapse prevention vision that I got in my mind, a virtual online community, because after this COVID-19 thing, I think the world's going to take a shift more towards virtual stuff. More people are going to be online continually, and I want to be prepared for that. And also what I can do downtown for this community here. All my paperwork's been approved for our nonprofit, and so I'm going to start working that out, because this is something we want to do. Like I said, I want to rewrite the last half of my life, the last half of my obituary, and I want it to affect the world and change people for the better. I want a place where people can come and learn the tools necessary to prevent relapse, to teach those tools in a way that they're going to be able to be, it reminds me of Murd's dad, and like what he said last night, and how he's an Uber driver just trying to teach people. There's wisdom in that guy, and what he's teaching people in those Uber rides about the quality of how much time is really left on earth. How much time do we really have? 72 is the average age that a human on earth lives. That's the average age, 72. So do the math on yourself right now. What can we do with the rest of our lives to make ourselves proud of our obituary? And I've been thinking the other day too, like, what do we know of our great grandparents? Some of us might know more than others, but if I think about my great grandfather, I've heard maybe one story, maybe one thing that he did, like where he was from and the street that he lived on. And I maybe have seen one picture, but that was a whole life. That was a whole generation, a whole life on this earth that we don't know anything about. And soon I will be that person. I will be somebody's great grandfather, whom they will be like, well, there's some pictures and some videos of them on, but what can I do to affect and change and glorify God today? And that's where I'm headed with my life. And I'm about to make a huge jump, and I just feel like I need to. Yes. It seems like every time the neighbors are giving away their stuff from their garbage pile, it ends up in our house.
Is that where that came from?
There's like 50 of them.
My God.
They got like 50 of those candy canes. I'm like, where'd you get those?
So weird.
The Viernos gave it to us.
Poking me in the head with it. It made me tickle.
No, you're not, Raina.
Almost dead.
My great grandfather was a rum runner in the Newfoundland to Chicago. Hold on, I'm going to yell.
Oh, like he's blaring in the shower because he stinks. He's got music cranked up in there.
You know what I'm talking about, Aaron? We ended up with their little pool table. I'd show it to you, but it's green and it would disappear. I'm like, where's the balls?
It'd just be legs.
Yeah, they don't. Just another chunk of garbage in our house.
Are those candy canes supposed to be like pool thingies?
No, it's Christmas decorations for the yard.
Because we decorate.
Yeah, we don't decorate. It's too much work. I'm too lazy.
His armpits probably stink, Aaron. They smell like onions. Smells like a blimpy shop.
Thank you, Kat, for the kind words.
Thanks, Kat. Can't wait for you to get your shirt. Or your husband. Anyways, it's his idea. He was the inspiration.
Yeah, that was your Kat, you inspired and made Felice, and you guys made that happen. I had nothing to do with it. Aubrey says, ew.
Teenage boys stinks. So do little girls. They're nasty onions.
So how many of you feel ready? You're ready to get into this chapter 6? Because change is the name of the game, it says. It says everyone thinks change is based on what you're going to get, but change has a lot to do with what you're willing to get rid of. Like a hot air balloon that goes up when you throw the sand out off of it. A lot of people don't want to throw the sand out. They want to keep the sand and still go up. So 6 is we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. How many of y'all are ready to move from chapter 5 to chapter 6? I think I am.
Yes, please. I don't know if they sell Blimpie out here.
Blimpies? Yeah, we got Blimpie.
Do we sell Blimpie? I haven't seen one in a while.
I think so. I'll have to Google it. It took me 5 long years to face my drinking to set me on a path as I am now. I still have hope and success as time goes on. Timothy Mountain, U.S. Air Force, Recon Marine, Gulf War veteran.
We love it, Tim. We're glad you're here.
See, that's the wisdom we're looking for in the comments too there, Timothy, is 5 years. And you know what it takes to get there and what you got to do to get another 5 years, right? So you can help correct us. You know, I'm new to this, and I rely on the books, the big book. I rely on Joe McHugh. I rely on Staying Sober by Terrence, what's his last name? Gorski, to teach me. And I try to learn and then come here and teach you guys what I learned and then try to practice it the next day in my everyday living. What?
Do it.
Yeah, keep the change coming. I'm ready and raising. Sweet. Me too, brother.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh, hey, SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob. That's actually one cartoon I could watch for like 3 episodes and get lost in. All right, let's have a prayer since Kat's leaving.
Kat and Alicia. We might have missed her.
All right. Here
That's my
comes daughter.
sister.
Here comes daughter.
From another mister.
I'm just holding his hand. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
And God, please be with us as we start to remove these defects of characters pointed out to us. Give us strength and give us a desire and hunger to recover and to be better people. And be with Dwight and his stomach problem. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Good Patrick voice.
Yes, Mark came and got your shirt.
Yep, Mark came and got your shirt. We talked to him.
And your plate. Story time by LT and Felice.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks for watching. I'm glad you're here. And on
Good
that
night,
note,
everybody.
And remember,
everybody bring something to the table tomorrow
And
about step 6, about being entirely ready to, if you've done it, let us know how you did it and what you've learned from it. But we'll be back. We're here every night, 8 o'clock, and we're going to be here for another year until things happen. And what I mean by things happening is that the business takes off and we can support recovering addicts everywhere and just give and give and give. By me and her not thinking about ourselves, we grow and recover better.
yes, we do.
But
Yes,
until-
bring your pancakes to the table.
Ooh,
Bring them to my table.
pancakes. I love pancakes. All right. Well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you guys, you know what to do. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember,
We recover
better together.
Together.
okay, I took off your panties.